How's it going, you all?
And welcome to Bros. We are back with the Mandalorian review, Chapter 13, The Jedi. And before we break down the episode,
this was the best Star Wars we have seen since Disney bought Star Wars back in 2012. Some episodes of Star Wars Rebels and the Siege of Mandalore arc of the Clone Wars is also up there with the best, but this was as good as them, if not better.
we have mentioned Dave Filoni was going to direct the episode in our last Mandalorian review, and we expected a banger.
Even though we had such high expectations, Filoni not only fulfilled all of our expectations, but took it one step further. With all of his work so far, he proves that he can take more responsibility and lead Star Wars.
Like Kevin Feige did with Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Bruce Timm did with DC Animated Universe.
We hope Disney will make the right choice.
Now that we gave the credit Filoni deserved fully, we can get into the video. We start the episode on the planet Corvus, where Ahsoka Tano is located. For people asking the question,
Who is this? Ahsoka Tano.
She was introduced to us on the Clone Wars movie first, as the Padawan of Anakin Skywalker, eager to learn the Jedi ways. She has gone through one of the best character growths we have seen in the Star Wars, and ended up seeing the corruption of the Jedi and left the Order before Order 66 and the fall of the Republic.
she played a major role in the Siege of Mandalore arc of the Clone Wars to free Mandalore from Darth Maul, and in Star Wars Rebels to aid the Phoenix Squadron and mentor Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger.
Ahsoka makes an early appearance with her white lightsabers, taking down the soldiers of the Magistrate, Morgan Elsbeth. Ahsoka comes to the city gate to tell Elsbeth that she has one day to tell the location of her master peacefully, or she will have to take other means to learn the information. As she is ready to leave, if you listen carefully, you can hear the theme of Ahsoka from Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. This theme will continue to play throughout the episode.
In the next scene, we see the Razor Crest arrive to Corvus. Mando and the child go to the city that Elsbeth rules to gather information about the location of Ahsoka. Before Mando is allowed in the city, Lang, who looks like the second most authorized person in the city, asks if he is a member of the guild. Being guild member means being a part of a group that lives by a code which makes him trustworthy.
The Magistrate calls Mando to her palace. She has a job for Mando, to hunt down the Jedi in exchange for a pure Beskar spear. This Beskar spear might be from Magistrate's master, Admiral Thrawn, as Ahsoka mentions in the end of the episode. Thrawn, Grand Admiral of the Empire, which we will talk more about in the remainder of this video, was an art fanatic. He collected artifacts from the planets he had been on and studied them to understand a culture, species, or a group of people. He might have acquired the Beskar spear in one of his journeys. Thrawn is not a person who would be willing to share his art normally, but as these are uncertain times, he might have acted differently.
When we saw the Beskar spear in the episode, we expected Mando to acquire it by the end. We believe Mando having the spear foreshadows a battle against the lightsaber, as Beskar is one of the rare metals that can withstand its form against the lightsaber strike. A potential one-on-one with Din Djarin and Moff Gideon is highly expected. Even though Mando will not complete his task, he accepts the job as Magistrate gives Mando the location of Ahsoka as well. Mando gets exactly what he wants.
Mando dives into the forest to find Ahsoka. In the forest, if you look closely, you will see an owl on the screen. This owl is Ahsoka's personal owl, named Morai. Morai is the daughter of Mortis, embodiment of the light side. Mortis' arc of Star Wars Clone Wars and Ahsoka's scenes in Star Wars Rebels explains how the daughter became Ahsoka's personal owl perfectly, so we would suggest you to check them out. But to summarize, daughter was killed by the son of Mortis, embodiment of the dark side, but in her last breath, she was able to transform herself into an owl. Later down the line, she became, as established in Clone Wars and Rebels, wherever Ahsoka goes, Morai goes. When we see Morai, we can understand Ahsoka is not far away.
When Ahsoka sees a mysterious bounty hunter in the forest, she chooses to attack him. We can see lightsabers cannot cut through Beskar in this scene, which is very cool. When Mando mentions Bo-Katan's name, Ahsoka understands that Mando is not a threat.
Then, we move on to the scene where Ahsoka and the child communicate through the Force. This scene, with Ahsoka and the child under the moonlight, captivates the mystical and the magical setting of the evening. In the time that we are in the galaxy, the Jedi are incredibly uncommon to find, therefore, they are very mysterious from an outsider's perspective, like the Mandalorian. We believe Dave Filoni wanted to show the Jedi this way to represent their rarity and mystery. The pace of the shots when Ahsoka and the child is connecting, and the theme behind the scenes back up this point of view.
Ahsoka can connect to the child's mind and learn about his past. Ahsoka finds out the child's name is Grogu and gives information about where he came from. We learn that Grogu was a youngling and was trained by Jedi Masters in the Jedi Temple in the Republic's capital, Coruscant, during the Clone Wars. As he is 50 years old, and Anakin would have been 50 if he was alive, we can say that they were trained at the same time.
After Empire was formed, Grogu went to hiding like all the Jedi who survived Order 66. Ahsoka mentioned that his mind is dark after this. There are speculations about someone wiping his mind, maybe Kenobi and Yoda when they were at the Jedi Temple, or the librarian Jedi, Jocasta Tano, who was one of the few Jedi who survived Order 66 at first, then was killed by Vader. Or it can be something else, like Grogu's fear clouding Ahsoka's ability to see what happened.
Learning the child's name and where he came from clears that he is not a clone, but we don't know about his birth origin. The most logical explanation is Grogu being Yoda and Yaddle's offspring. The Jedi Code prohibits breeding a child, as a child would be an attachment. However, if a species is endangered, then there can be exceptions. For example, Jedi Master Ki-Adi-Mundi had several wives and many children as he was from an endangered species.
Ahsoka mentions her old master Yoda in this conversation as well. When she says Grogu's species is rare, she also mentions only knowing one other member of his kind, which is Yoda. We can hear Yoda's team play out for a brief moment in the back while they talk about him.
Din Djarin has a little to no information about the Jedi and has no knowledge of the Force. To simply explain, Ahsoka tells exactly the same words Obi-Wan Kenobi used to Luke in A New Hope.
It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us, it penetrates us, it binds the galaxy together.
In the morning, Ahsoka tests Grogu's Force sensitivity. Ahsoka comes to the conclusion that she can train him because he has much anger in him and he's attached to the Mandalorian. She knows from her past experience what anger and attachment can do to the best of the Jedi, which is a reference to Anakin Skywalker.
Mando is not thrilled to hear about the Jedi he has been looking for so long, is unwilling to train the child from reasons he does not understand completely. So he makes a deal with Ahsoka that if he helps Ahsoka regain the city and get the Magister to talk, she will offer a new alternative for Grogu's training.
On their way back to the city for their mission, Din gives information about the enemy defenses. A350 blasters are common in the Star Wars galaxy. Also, HK series assassin droids were used a lot during the Clone Wars. But for a Jedi and the Mandalorian, this is an easy task.
In the city, we saw a lost cat in the corner. This might not feel like a big deal, but it might be foreshadowing for seeing Ezra Bridger from Star Wars Rebels in the future. Probably not in The Mandalorian, but potentially in another series. When Dave Filoni is involved, you have to think outside the box. The reason why we connect a cat to a Jedi is because the creature is native to Ezra's home planet, and he has a strong connection with animals.
While fighting the droids in the city, one of the assassin droids say, Boshuda, which is Huttese for greetings. Ahsoka's fight with Morgan Elsbeth and the Mandalorian's duel with Lang happened simultaneously. And from the moment till the end of the fights, there was an incredible tension. Ahsoka disarms Elsbeth, which signals the end of the fight, and now she's willing to reveal the location of her master, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Carabast. Thrawn was one of the highest ranking officers in the Empire, as there are only 12 Grand Admirals in the entire galaxy, before he vanished with Ezra in space after jumping to hyperspace with Purgils in the end of Star Wars Rebels. This episode of The Mandalorian takes place after the events we just mentioned, so this means somehow Thrawn and Ezra survived and was found.
We believe Ahsoka is asking for Thrawn in order to find Ezra. In the last scene of Star Wars Rebels, which is exactly the time we are in The Mandalorian right now, Ahsoka and Sabine start working for finding Ezra after he had vanished. We believe that after the events of Chapter 13 of The Mandalorian, Ahsoka travels to Lothal to reunite with Sabine and start their journey to find Ezra. So, the last scene of Star Wars Rebels takes place after Chapter 13 of The Mandalorian. The evidence we have for this is the fact that Ahsoka's outfit on the concept art you see on the screen now and in the end of Star Wars Rebels being the same outfit. This journey is unrelated to the story of The Mandalorian, so we are expecting a new Ahsoka Tano series to be announced that will help bring light to the story of Thrawn and Ezra.
After we see the city saved from the reign of the Magistrate, Ahsoka gives the spear to Mando and Mando gets back to the Razor Crest to get Grogu to start his training with Ahsoka. We have an emotional scene between Grogu and the Mandalorian saying goodbye to each other. When Ahsoka sees this, she tells Mando that Grogu is like a son to him and they can't be separated.
She rejects to train him and tells Mando if he wants Grogu to be trained, he should go to the planet Thaiton and find the ancient Jedi temple. In Legends, Thaiton is a planet very rich with the Force and is one of the first locations of a Jedi temple, 35,000 years ago. According to Ahsoka, Grogu will choose his path through the Force and reach out to a Jedi Master. Well, there aren't many Jedi left, and the only one we know at this point is Luke Skywalker. Invoking that name is thrilling.
We would not be surprised if we have a cameo of Luke Skywalker in the upcoming episodes. The scene that we envision is Grogu reaching out to the Force and Luke connecting with the child. At this moment, the Empire to intervene and Luke somehow helping the Mandalorian and Grogu to escape the Empire. This is a long shot as we do not have any confirmation about Luke actually appearing, but you cannot fault us for hoping.
Luke is an incredibly important character and we do not see him all the time. Other than the original trilogy, we saw him appear very little in different stories. The sequel trilogy, very small cameo in Rebels, and Star Wars Battlefront 2 are some examples. His story in Battlefront is actually the Luke Skywalker we admired most. This is right after the Battle of Endor and he's a wise Jedi Master at the peak of his powers. We would encourage everyone to watch this little story that he was a part of.
You're telling me the man who destroyed the Jedi Order was secretly one of them?
No. I'm telling you that as a boy on Coruscant, you were frightened of the wrong thing.
We believe using Luke in a story should play a major role in Star Wars, and doing this in The Mandalorian is a perfect opportunity.
We end the episode off with the Mandalorian and Grogu saying goodbye to Ahsoka. Ahsoka saying "May the Force be with you" gave me goosebumps.
And Ahsoka theme playing in the end shed tears from my eyes.
After seeing the episode and speculating about an appearance from Luke Skywalker, we expect their season to end in a huge cliffhanger. We have 3 episodes to go and are very excited about it.
For the upcoming episodes, we expect Grogu to have his moment in Thaiton, hopefully with Luke, and the Empire to intervene as we mentioned before. This will probably cause the Mandalorian to first deal with the Empire, which might mean teaming up with Bo-Katan and other Mandalorians again. The events that will take place in the upcoming episodes are hard to anticipate, but we are sure that Mando and Grogu will not part ways, like Mando believes they will have to for him to finish his training.
We believe Grogu can even learn to use the Force by training himself and learn the Mandalorian ways, become a Force-wielding Mandalorian like the first ever Mandalorian Jedi, Tar Vizsla.
We count on Jon Favreau, the creator of the show, Dave Filoni, and everyone in charge to continue this amazing story.
There are several different stories going on, which include Ahsoka's journey of finding Thrawn and eventually Ezra, Bo-Katan's quest to restore the Darksaber and restore Mandalore, Empire's search for the child's blood to create clones, and mainly the Mandalorian's duty to make sure Grogu is trained to become a Jedi.
Also, we should not forget Boba Fett as well. We do not know how he will be connected to the series, but we will probably see him and he will be crucial in the next seasons.
We believe most of the endings to these stories will not be revealed, not only this season, but even not in this show.
As we mentioned with Ahsoka's journey of finding Thrawn, we can see a series dedicated on Ahsoka Tano. Bo-Katan's quest, the child's future, and Boba Fett will probably not be revealed in this season as well. We believe dealing with the Empire will be the main struggle until the end of the season.
With all these stories going on, it is important to point out the uniqueness of the Mandalorian series not only inside the Star Wars universe, but in the entire filming business.
We're thrilled as to where this series is headed and love Chapter 13.
If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and comment any questions you have down below.
We will be delighted if you join us on the channel as well, so feel free to subscribe.
Hope to see you in the next video.